Hello everyone, it's a rainy Saturday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Obiajulu Olabisi Ugbo and with me are the ladies. Good morning, Mrs. Fash. How was the rain?
Beautiful morning, I must say. I mean, it was all cozy. Our guy was around.
I can imagine.
Yes. So we're looking forward to a sunny day anyway.
Okay, after the rain.
After the rain.
So how's the plan for the weekend? Any plans?
Family, all family. The only thing on my mind now is family. Let's evaluate, let's discuss, let's realign.
No fun things. Which one is evaluate, discuss, realign? Wait, you are too serious, please. Be calming down. Be calming down. How you doing, Damola?
We all just sleep.
You can't sleep here. You can't sleep here.
The weather is so cozy.
Tell me about it.
I struggled out of bed this morning.
Wake up.
We have coffee.
Yeah. So but I'm glad to be here. Earlier on this week, I was actually under the weather. It felt like my head wanted to fall off. My nose was blocked. My nose was running. I had cough, but I'm happy to be here, seated in front of you.
Glad to have you. How you doing, Madam Toby?
I'm fine. So I went for the U.S. Consulate hangout on Wednesday, and ever since Wednesday, I've just been dropping content bit by bit on social media because I've been thinking, so the Academy for Women Entrepreneurs invited some of us to a barbecue hangout at the consulate.
Oh, nice.
So I went, and it was just a beautiful experience. Yeah, and so Joe said he'll be watching. The Public Affairs Secretary said he'll be watching today. So shout out to you, Joe. And so later today, I'll be attending the Creative Industry Career Fair. Okay. So over the last 2 weeks, I'd helped them draw up a media run. So they had visited radio stations to publicize this event. And so the event is there, is today. And it wouldn't be unfair for me not to be there. So I want to show up to see the effect of the media engagements that we've had over the weeks.
Nice.
So busy.
That's a serious weekend.
You're quite a busy...
Don't be the serious one.
Yes,
But
you're acting serious today. You're acting serious.
You're evaluating today.
So on a lighter note, this seriousness, I'm not buying it.
Sorry about that.
On a lighter note. So yesterday I promised I was going to serenade and pepperoni some people. Somebody. The main body, you know, and he had a very busy day at work. He had a very busy night afterwards, which I performed and did my work. Very funny. So I noticed that he doesn't, he always takes his calls. Phone calls wake him up. Once his phone rings, he would wake up and take the call. And I needed him to sleep, to get some, after the refreshments that happened. So you know what I did?
No,
I
we
took
don't.
his phones, I switched them off, and I put them on the floor so that nobody would call. At least he would sleep till like 10 a.m. and rest well, because when I come back, we continue. Today is the weekend,
You
darling.
meant what you said yesterday.
Yes. I'm a talk and do somebody.
Oh, my God.
I didn't just talk like that.
Yeah, so I mean it. I meant it and I carried it out.
Give us
So
some
that's
anointing.
God does single
Collect.
people.
Pass it,
Receive
pass the
strength to do more.
All right, darling. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll take the newspaper reviews. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back. So we'll be starting the newspaper review with The Nation. Stand up. Angry Obasanjo orders Oyo monarchs at event. Chicago Varsity releases president's academic records. Transcripts show president scored A grade in many subjects. Tinubu names Cardoso CBN governor in major shakeup. Usoro, Datijo, Ikeazo, Bello nominated as deputy governors. Cautious optimism as stakeholders set agenda for new team. Kano governor fires commissioner after death threat to tribunal judges. Court dismisses APC's case against Enugu governor. Inflation hit 25.8% in August, says MBS. Nigeria's public debt stock rises to 87.38 trillion in quarter 2, 2023. Prophet impregnates friend's wife in Ondo. How my kidney disappeared after operation for appendicitis. Just housewife. Prophet Biko, who has that story?
It's me. Oh.
Just
knew it.
Exactly.
Oh, that's the kind of story.
I knew Damola was going to pick that
Oh
story.
my God. So give us
Hey, prophet impregnate
Damola
friend's
is active.
wife in Ondo. Now the matter we see they settle like this.
Wow.
So this pastor, Prophet Oluwaseun Akinobi, he asked for help. He needed shelter from his friend, this Mr. Tumbosu. And Mr. Tumbosu sheltered him and allowed him to use his living room as his church and for those people who come there to seek for spiritual help. Before we knew what was happening, Prophet had already snatched his friend's wife and said that God told him that the wife was destined for him from above since they existed in the life before.
Wow.
And to top it all, this man then got another apartment for the wife outside. He put her there, impregnated her. Then the husband was going there to wash plates, wash clothes, take care of baby. The woman's husband, though. So this one, it has gone beyond ordinary eyes. So neighbors, friends of Mr. Tumbosu are screaming and shouting that this one is beyond us. They've even taken the matter to the police station. They're even telling the man to vacate that sitting room because it doesn't look like he's doing it with, ordinary eyes.
Wow.
He has taken the wife. He has refused to leave the man's house. He's still using it as a church. So now the matter we see, they settle like this.
Okay, I'm going to pause you there. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we continue the newspaper reviews. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back. We are starting with the nation, and Damola was giving us a story.
Yes, I was gisting you about the prophet that impregnated his wife in Ondo. So this is a story that happened between Mr. Tumbosu and his childhood friend, Prophet Oluwaseun Akinobi. Mr. Tumbosu took Prophet in when he was homeless, and he was using his sitting room as his church. He was receiving people there, giving them, performing miracles on them. In the course of that, he impregnated his friend's wife. That's Mr. Tumbosu's wife.
His host.
His host's wife, in fact, perfect. Then the prophet then decided to take the woman out of the house. He went to rent another apartment for her. And that was after they had discovered that the woman was pregnant. He took her out, and the neighbors were telling Mr. Tumbosu, this is what is happening, what's going on with you, because they realized that Mr. Tumbosu was even still going to the other house to clean, to cook, to take care of the baby. And when they were trying to advise him to open his mind to see what was going on, he said God has ordained it to be like that, that the prophet said that his wife was given to him, that they married them from above. Wow. So the woman was destined for him.
For the prophet.
Exactly. Oh. So the neighbor, the man's friend, that is Mr. Tumbosu's brother, they are all clamoring for justice. They've taken the matter to the police station. They are trying to settle the matter, trying to evict this man because even after perpetrating that evil, he's still using the man's house as his church. So now the matter we see they settle like this.
Wow. Any other story?
Yeah.
I have a story on page 3. Alleged court refuses to grant bail to accountant. So it says the Federal High Court in Lagos yesterday decided to grant bail to an accountant, Augustina Ayinola, who is standing trial on alleged fraud involving 1.07 billion. Her and her mom alone. So Justice Akintayo turned down the bail applications on the grounds that she was a flight risk. So it turns out that between the years 2017 and 2021, they have this firm called Patricia Resources Limited, and they were into purchasing consumables almost all the clients who dealt with them at that time have gone to court, taking them to court to say it was a promise, this forex, it will come in 1 month, it will come in 2 years. Now, so the matter entered 1.07 billion. And right now, she's been remanded at a correctional center, as well as her mom, her aged mom. They refused to grant them bail. They refused to allow their lawyers petition, give different things. Because I don't know how, it's still a character issue, but it's shocking. We always hear a person at the company, maybe the accountant, the MD. This one is a family business.
Yeah, so it's a family fraudulent business. So be your story.
So I have the story about organ harvesting in the north. And so we've seen a couple of news upcoming in the dailies where people have been complaining of organ harvesting, especially in the north, right? And so this particular story is about Mr. Kehinde Kamal. That's his family that made the news public, saying that his wife's kidney was missing. And so in 2018, his wife was complaining of tummy ache. And so they had a family doctor, and then they just went to see her. Next thing, she found out that they said it was appendix. She did a surgery, paid 80,000 naira. And so even after that surgery, she was still feeling pains. And so she went back again. The doctor said, the doctor's name is Dr. Noah Kekere in the north. And so she paid another 60,000. They did the surgery again. But the man was literally giving her pain relievers. You feel relief for a few days, go back again. And so he wanted to collect some money again. The next thing, the husband said that no, let's go and get a second opinion from the University of Just Teaching Hospital. And by the time they got there, they found out that her kidney was actually missing. Yes. So the woman said she had never done any surgery before. She's a mother of 4, but all her deliveries were natural birth. So where would the kidney be missing from? And so they traced it back to this family doctor, Dr. Noah Kekere. And so investigations went on, and they found out that this doctor is actually not a member of the Nigerian Medical Association in the state. And so the NMA had disowned him, saying that they don't know about him and all that. But guess what?
Has it been
the neighbors around have testified to the fact that anytime they go to his hospital, they find healing, they get solutions to their problem. Guess the highlight of the investigation, the one that the man studied economics.
Hey! Father Lord God in heaven.
Wow.
So the man is currently in the police custody.
What a talented economist.
As in,
Medical economist.
over the years, family doctor.
Scary.
Oh my goodness.
Let's move
So
on.
his name is Dr. Noah Kekere.
Kekere,
And the name of the hospital is Muna Clinic
No,
and
that hospital
Maternity,
should be shut down.
located in Nashanu community in the Just North local government area.
No, it should be shut down. That's an illegal building up
And
there.
everybody should just take caution.
I have one more story. A laborer, Sunday Laments, beheaded a farmer, Taye Olatoye, and he's been remanded to prison custody by an Akure Chief Magistrate Court. Sunday killed this 30-year-old victim while they were going to the farm, and he was immediately arrested and handed over to the police. So according to the story, this young man, Sunday Clements, said he took meth with a combination of marijuana on that particular day. And they were walking past each other by the farm area, and something just entered him and told him he should walk back. So he walked back, and the thing told him to cut off that young man's head. He doesn't know him. They greeted each other when they passed. No relationship, no quarrel, nothing. And he listened to the thing that told him, cut off the man's head. And then he realized himself. So in his appeal, he said that probably because of the combination of the meth and the marijuana in the hot sun was what affected him, that he actually heard a voice telling him what to do, that immediately he realized after he had done it that something was wrong with him. But the magistrate said, we're not going to have that. That is not an excuse. We have told people to stop taking drugs. They don't listen. Just a painful one. Let's move on now to the Punch. Tinubu names Cardozo as Emefiele's replacement. Fate of acting governor deputies uncertain. UK hikes students' visa to 476,667. Raises fee for visitors. CGN constitutes Supreme Court panel next week as PDP LP file appeal on Tuesday. PDP NEC member wants Ariwola out of panel. Obi Atiku Tinubu retain 8 lawyers. Tribunal sacks 6 APC, 8 LP lawmakers. PDP loses 11 National Assembly seats. Pressure mounts on rice farmers as CBN massive loan repayment deadline nears. My mom saved me from committing suicide, and Puti content creator. I'm devastated losing wife to pregnancy complications after spending 5.8 million, businessman. Okay, what stories do we have here? Who's taking my mom saved me from committing suicide? Who has that? And who has the UK hike student visa?
I have the my mom saved me from committing suicide. This is the inspiring story of a 24-year-old amputee. Her name is Mary Osabohe. She's a graduate of mass communication from the Lagos State Polytechnic, and she's now a content creator. She said that she lost her arm due to a malformation in the early stage of her life. So after trying to save the forearm, she had to opt for an amputation. And as she grew older, she felt, because they had to take her from one hospital to another, trying to salvage, that arm. Then she got so frustrated. She said she felt like she was a witch that was intentionally given to her parents to disturb them and drain them financially. So, which was why she wanted to take her life. But then her mom stepped in at the right time. So she said that she has gone on to accept her story, and that is why she's putting her story out there to inspire other people living with disabilities. She's married, she has kids, and she's saying that she's been able to balance her life as a mom, a mother, and a content creator, because as a content creator, she's able to bring in revenue into the family, and then they can live a good life. And she also pointed out that, which is very important, she said that our society should, create more facilities for people living with disabilities. You go to a lot of facilities, a lot of buildings, they do not have access, what's it called, roads for people living with disabilities. They struggle to climb the staircase and all of that. And then she also said that we should try and sensitize children in school, because some children see her and start crying. There's some run away. So we should start including it in schools that disability is not a death sentence, and so that these children can learn to accept them, because she feels some type of way when children cry when they see her. Yeah, but it's inspiring that she's using her story, to push a narrative out there.
Okay.
I have the UK hike student visa. And so, starting from the 4th of October, the UK government has said that they would increase the price of their visas. So the UK visiting visa, which was £15 before, would now be £115. And that is a 667% increase. And we know the current exchange rate. Even if it was the same price, we know that we wouldn't have been paying the same thing. And then student visa from £127 to £490, which is a 286% increase. And the government has said, the UK government has said that this increase would enable it to pay for vital services and allow more funding to be prioritized for public sector pay rise. So we see that immigrants are the ones funding a larger chunk of, the expenses of those countries. And remember, it was mentioned that this won't take effect until the 4th of October. So that's just like putting the information out there and to sensitize the populace. And also, all visas have been increased. All visas, yes, all. And it will be taking effect on the 4th of
October next year. Any other story in the Punch? Or we should move. Okay, let's go to the Sun. Nigerians spend 517 billion on beer in 6 months. Tinubu nominates Cardoso as CBN governor. Inflation rises to 25.80% in August, says MBS. Shock waves in APC, PDP, LP over tribunal judgment. We are disturbed. Cases are decided based on pre-election matters. Main opposition party. Our victory is being withdrawn through backdoor opposition party. We respect judiciary, but we appeal where we lose ruling party. Kanu Commissioner issues death threat to tribunal judges. Why we may exhume Mobat's body. Police. He was never happy for a day. Late artist's wife. Auto accidents claim 8 lives in Anambra, Ekiti. Oti Kalu condemned killing of LP chieftain in Abia. So I have the story of Mobat. The Nigerian police force said it may exhume the body of the late singer, Ilerioluwa Aloba, popularly known as Mobat, if the need arises. This also followed the various versions of the events that led to his death in Lagos on Tuesday. We do not have the actual story of what killed him. Some people say ear infection. Other people said he was touched where he went to perform at Ikorodu and all of that. So because of the controversy, the police is saying that they will likely may need to exhume his body, that it's not late for that. And they are calling on the public to bring whatever information that they have to, to help with the investigation and conclude the case. I just wish them the best, and I wish that anybody who is responsible for what has happened to this young man be brought to book. Yeah.
I've been so sleepless. I've had sleepless nights for the last 4 days.
Wow. Over this issue.
Yes, I can't just
you
stand from it. Well, he used to live in my compound. So Naira Marley used to have
studio?
Not a studio, a house in my compound. So it's a mini estate. So there are about 6 semi-detached duplexes there. So he had one that he had rented. So he comes there with all these boys, and I used to see him just sit at the balcony, quiet, just try to rap, all those things, freestyle his songs, and I just can't put it together. Exactly. Every time I step out of my balcony and I look at that balcony, it's like I'm seeing him there. Like, oh my God.
That's a bit close to home. So what other stories do we have in the Sun?
So Tinubu nominates Cardoso as CBN governor, names 4 deputies. And so amidst the ongoing investigation into the activities of the CBN, the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has nominated Dr. Olayemi Michael Cardoso to serve as the new governor of the Apex Bank for a term of 5 years. And this is in line with the CBN Act that says that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has the authority to appoint the governor and 4 deputy governors, subject to a confirmation by the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So he's putting forward this nomination, and he has the hopes that these nominations will be approved. The 4 deputy governors include Mrs. M.M. Nana Usoro, Mr. Mohammed Sani Abdullahi Jatito, Mr. Philip Ikeazo, and Dr. Bala M. Bello. So we look forward to their approvals if they are able to qualify.
I like this story. Cardoso? He used to be the former MD in
Citibank. Yeah, I knew I had.
Yeah. So I just love the fact that young guys, smart guys are showing up for this position.
Yeah, technocrats as well. Yeah. So any other story before we move on? Okay, so let's move on now to the Tribune. Tinubu appoints Yemi Cardoso as CBN governor. Nominations open for 2023 Obafemi Awolowo Leadership Prize. 7 other ex-patients found missing kidneys, many more to go for tests. Community leaders meet today on the matter. Democracy must not breed poverty and insecurity, Obasanjo. Makinde says Alaafin's tool, not for the highest bidder, inaugurates Oyo Isheyin Road. We have no plan to move NNPCL headquarters to Lagos, Kiari. I grabbed my father's neck, strangled him, and cut his private parts. 20-year-old murder suspect. Reverend Father says bandits' bullets failed to penetrate Catholic priest's body in Kaduna. Bullets felt like ice cream on his skin. I have that story. Reverend Father at the Catholic Seminary, Kafanchan Diocese in Kaduna State, George Bade, disclosed that about 5 bandits lost their lives when they tried successfully to kill a priest during an attack in which a parishioner was killed and the seminary set ablaze. So according to the story, they said these people came in. So this priest was suspecting that the person who brought the bandits to the house knew is someone probably from the church, because the person knew the right places to move in. And so they came in, they started shooting. The bullets were falling off his body. It wasn't touching him. And they kept shooting. And they were worried. They were upset that the bullet wasn't touching him. And one of them now said, in the name of Jesus, we are going to kill you today. And he replied back, in the name of Jesus, which Jesus are you calling? Is it the Jesus I'm worshiping or another Jesus that you're calling? And so they spoke to themselves in the Hausa language, saying, let's go, this is not a human being.
Wow.
You know, and they left. However, the bullet had touched one of the reverend fathers who died.
Yeah.
So after they left, they had to do a head count, how many of us are here? And then they realized that one of them had died. And he said he wasn't wearing any outfits. Probably he would have thought maybe somebody jazzed this outfit for him. He was in his boxers when they came in, you know, and the bullets were touching him. He felt like it was ice cream. It was a miraculous story. And yes, I sort of liked how it ended. But those bandits came back to the house and set it ablaze. You know, they were really upset that they couldn't kill him. They couldn't get him. So they set it ablaze, hoping that it's well. Any stories in the Tribune?
Yes, I have the Obafemi Awolowo Prize for Leadership story.
Let's take that so we can...
So the Obafemi Awolowo Prize for Leadership is an idea instituted by the Obafemi Awolowo Foundation on the basis of, I think, transformational leadership and good governance. So Chief Obafemi Awolowo is Nigerian and Pan-African. So this story talks about the history of everything Chief Obafemi Awolowo stood for, his involvement in the pre-colonial era, and the fact that he was relevant in federal service, and also a very strong educationist that brought good governance to the West Premier then, and also Nigeria. And so for me, what stood out in this story are the values that they're looking for. It's not just for you to say, I have served in this capacity. And the fact that they're looking at leadership not from a position of title, but from a position of values, intrinsic values. Yeah, so the nominations are out and anybody can apply. I hope to apply.
Nice.
Yeah, I hope to apply.
All right. Thank you so much, ladies. That's all we can take on the newspaper reviews. When we come back, we move on to our hot topic and stories for the day. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we got a story in our mail and we'd like to share it with you. A lady said that since she was 7 years old, she realized that her mother never loved her like she loved her 2 elder sisters and her 2 younger brothers. So I'm assuming she's in between. The mother saw her as a threat and always called her her co-wife. This went on all her life while her father tried so hard to make her happy till he passed. The woman made life so miserable for her that she monitored her schooling. She made sure she served in her office, always taunting her and saying to her, now your husband is dead, who will save you? And now she's 50 and she's got no life, no friends, no self-esteem, and she cannot seem to love herself. What are your thoughts on this? You can join the conversation by calling us on 081-0764-1679 or 090-2416-3440 or tweet to us at TVC Connect using the Your View hashtag. The story was a long read. You know, we just had to shorten it because we're on air. But some of the things she said, which I want to highlight as we discuss this, is the fact that she started cooking from the age of 6. And her mother made her to serve her elder ones, and even her younger ones. She would cook, she would clean. The rest were not treated that way. And even when she got admission to go to a school far away, she actually planned with her father to, you know, seek for JAMB to a distant place. The mother delayed her admission for over 1 year till they found a polytechnic close to the house for her to attend. And I am wondering, Biko, what is the role of the father in all of this? How do you open your eyes and you see your wife treating one of your child just because she believes you love her more? And why is the woman competing with her child? Those are questions I would like us to really take our time and unpack this morning before we go to solutions. Solutions will come later on. So what are your thoughts, Ronke?
Well, it's a very strange story. Strange is almost difficult to assume it is true. I'm telling myself, could it be that they were unable to tell this girl that she's not, maybe the mom is not her real mom? Because it's almost impossible to assume somebody will have a child and treat the child so bad. To answer some of your questions, well, I think what we owe our parents is honor. It's not slavery. That's what we owe them, honor. So I am upset that she let her mom do so much. I'm upset that her father, well, the mom's, from the story, we can almost conclude that the mother had a very strong personality. Reminds me of one movie I watched where, Battle on Booker Street, where the husband couldn't do anything. So
yes.
sometimes the husbands, man, they are there, but
Like
just like they are not there.
figureheads.
You know, she let her mom do so much. Maybe when she was a child, yeah. And then I'm also worried. She had siblings. So these siblings thought it was
Ignored her.
okay. The neighbors thought it was okay. Did they not go to church? Every other person thought it was okay. Is there something about her that she's also not telling us? Is she telling us just one side? Is there something, is there a way they tried to help? How was she doing in school? But even if she was the devil, I think
was
her
their child.
mom was extreme with her. This is very unfair. This is something nobody should do to another person. And this is something you shouldn't allow to be done to yourself.
Before I come to you, you know, sometimes when we read some of these stories, we think, can this story be real? Till it happens to you. I've had personal experiences where the man in question was, some days he's lucid, other days he's not. But what I realized was the days he's lucid, he makes sure that the children are treated right. And what I mean not lucid is they've used jazz
Yeah.
to cover his face, yes. And on those days, you know that this man is not here. You can tell, even the children will know that, for daddy to see this kind of treatment and he's not saying anything, they've done something. Because the days he's lucid, he gets himself back. So when I read the story, I could relate because I've seen it firsthand. It didn't sound like strange to me. I've seen, and I've also seen mothers who, so it's either the mother is a narcissistic woman, or she's a witch, or she's mentally sick. For you to have a child and not care for the child and compete with the child against your husband. So because he loves you, I think every woman should be happy that their husband loves the children. That's what you see when daddies and their daughters. I have 2 daughters, and I see how my husband adores them, and I feel great. Like, these people know that nobody can mess with them because they have their father.
You see,
So,
sorry to cut
Yeah,
you.
go ahead.
You feel that way because you have a healthy self-esteem.
Yeah.
Children with battered self-esteem, once they get married, it doesn't go. It doesn't go away. It just increases. So I've seen people who are really envious of their children.
wow.
Yes,
Actually.
I've seen people that are really envious. And I feel sometimes the men do not even help. Because sometimes the men believe, now my joy has come. Now that I have this child, my joy has come. And
They ignore the wife.
they ignore the women. And instead of the women to seek help, they just feel, okay,
So you are the one.
The battle line is drawn.
With their
One
own
that is
child.
taking my own
The
husband.
battle line is drawn. Let's
Okay,
start.
let me come to Damola.
Just continue on your line of thought. Well, I believe that there are some women that can compete with their daughters or their children or have some kind of narcissism going on in them. For this particular story, I want to paint a scenario in my head because me, I like to put 2 and 2 together. Because if she had treated all the daughters like that, I would have concluded that this is who she is. But then there's a possibility that the man cheated on her and this girl or this woman now is the product of the extramarital affair. So the woman is seeing, or she was seeing her as the competitor, like you. Your mother came, had the audacity to come into my marriage and sleep with my husband, and now brought you.
That explains some of it.
So because she had other children that she did not treat like that, but she decided to pass all that hatred.
But Dami, let me bust your
onto
bubble there.
that child.
A narcissistic mother will have a child that is the golden child. Will have another one that is the scapegoat.
From 6 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's still possible, you know, we're speculating right now because we don't have the real story. It's still possible that she gave birth to that child.
That child.
But
We
that
cannot,
is the
we
scapegoat.
cannot
She
clearly
will choose
excuse-
one as
She
a
said
scapegoat.
it's her mother. That is her mother.
She will choose one as
She
a
might,
scapegoat.
think it's her mom, but let's even assume that's her mom.
Yeah.
Because they're
And I've also seen, when I was in the university, I think I've mentioned this before, there's this particular woman who, the young girl was trying to go to school. So she got admission into the university there. But they were so poor. The mother was a bricklayer. The woman being a bricklayer. They were so poor. And back in Urobo land, and women do more of the hard work anyway, so it's not strange. And she was trying to make ends meet. This young girl was making hair. She makes good Ghana braids. In fact, we'll book ahead of time or else we won't get a slot. That was how she was fending for the home and also being able to pay her fees. But every morning, anytime I go and make hair there, this woman is reeling curses to this child, her first child. She did not bring her from outside. I had to ask the girl, now she born you? Say, now me, see my baby pictures now. Now she carry me, now she born me. Reeling curses. So at some point, I'm like, are you sure this woman is not in a coven? Because sometimes when women are possessed like that, they have this child that they have said, they have vowed to ruin their lives or whatever benefit they are getting. So you can't rule out it's deep.
This is
Toby,
very
please give us
Wait,
your thoughts.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sounding spooky. And I'm like, what skill I make it right? So I think that for parents and as children, I think that if our parents knew better, they would have done better. And this is just to create a general explanation for the things that some of our parents had done to us and we're feeling and still holding on to that, right? And so for the woman, I'm thinking maybe she went through some form of pain of childbirth that is not expressive. So sometimes some women go through so much pain in some of their childbirth, such that when they see the child, they have a form of hatred for the child. Yes, so this can be a very good explanation for that. Me, I would not like to sound spooky and witches.
It's not sounding spooky.
I mean, so sorry, okay.
Don't insult me here. I'm going to take it very personal with you. It's not sounding spooky. You will talk from where you are. That's what you know. I'm giving you life experience.
I mean, I'm sorry about that. So that's what I feel, that she may have gone through that process and she's finding it difficult.
So I'm going to have to pause you here. Let's take a short break. When we come back, Toby will continue her thoughts on not being spooky. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still having a conversation about the lady who is 50 now and needs help on how her childhood has gone. And Toby was giving her thoughts before we went on a break. Are you ready?
Yes. I was saying earlier on that quite a number of us are trying to heal from the mistakes of our parents. Now, I don't want that to sound like we're attacking our parents. We want also our parents to think about it because they're somebody's children also. And the way they were also treated impacted the way they treated us, right? And there's another thing also about sibling rivalry. When it feels like a parent is showing favoritism towards a child. We see that also in the Bible where Joseph, for instance, we see what happened to him, how that he was sold because a parent was showing so much love for him. Now look at this woman, she's 50 and she actually has siblings, but she said that none of her siblings relate with her. They don't just want to have anything to do with her. And that shows the impact of this sibling favoritism that we complain about, or that we say that parents show that this one, maybe because the child is outspoken, like, this one is my favorite child, right? And now look down on another child. So this lady in this instance was now the scapegoat to be used in the instance. And one thing I also say is that whenever you wake up is your morning, she's 50 years, yes. A lot of us may feel like...
Relax, we'll give our solutions in a bit.
Time, yes. Yeah. A lot of us may feel like time may be up or time has gone for her. That what would she have done in her youth? What would she have? Why would she allow this and all that to happen to her? But the truth about it is that we process things differently. A lot of us are able to speak out now because we're aware and we are exposed to things that make us more responsible for our lives. But not everybody has that instance. So I really feel for this woman, and to be honest, I hope that from this table we can get a lasting solution to helping her.
Who gets a lasting solution, because we have the waker, the life coach.
I'm a lady of your view right now.
On the panel. She will get.
I'm a lady of your view right now. So I like what you said. Not all of us process things the same way. And the fact that when things happen, some of us tend to freeze. Some fight, some take flight. She has frozen for so long. Maybe, like you said, we'll wake her up this morning. But before we start waking her up, I want us to talk about the father.
Yes, so.
As a man, don't you think you have the responsibility to ensure that things go well in the home? To ensure that every child is treated properly. It's not just to churn out children. Your wife can born, you not can belle, 3, don't drop, 4, 5, 6. And then you don't care about their mental well-being, their emotional well-being. You don't pay attention. So I always say, like, before I come to you, Ronke, I grew up in a very unstable, family. And I had several stepmothers. Several. They will come, they'll stay for years, they'll go, another one will come. My father was a hot cake. Everybody just wanted to have a piece of him. And they would come and they would maltreat me or make attempts to maltreat me. But I realized that for the times that he's lucid, the example I gave initially, I was actually talking, I just didn't want to mention him. He would insist on how I'll be treated. He would pay attention to what I ate, what I had for school, how my well-being. He would pay attention. I would know that my father is back. And that gave me confidence that my father has got my back. But this man, do you think he did that? He didn't show if he did any of that. It felt like the woman just had a free will to run the home anyhow she wanted, to the extent that he was plotting jam secretly behind his wife. Because which effort did that woman cook to have such power in that house? Ronke, help us, please.
I went back to the story, BC, and I feel like I don't want to agree with Toby's spooky line of thoughts, but I'm almost, I'm not left with any choice here, because I've seen a number of lines, go out.
You don't agree, but
I don't want to agree, but I just have to agree that there's something spooky about this. Because times when she drove the girl out to say, go and meet your father, go out, that means the father was out, maybe away from home. So I see a home that had an absentee father.
Hold on, because I really want to get your thoughts, but let's take Dan from Kano. Good morning, Dan. We have a caller, Dan.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
You're live.
My contribution to what is going. Hello?
Go ahead, sir. We can hear you.
Okay. Thank you very much for this conversation. I so much love it. Yeah. I noticed that whole thing is happening in my house too. But it's not as the case of this girl in question. Well,
Can you speak up a bit, sir? We're struggling to hear you. Oh, we lost him. Sorry about that. You were giving me your thoughts.
Yeah, so I said, they go out and meet your father. Don't disturb me and my children. I and my children. Sounds like the man was an absentee father, not really present in the home. Then he was timid. That's why he tried to do something behind his wife's back. And they are not synonyms. So then he was weak-willed. He allowed the wife make all the decisions in the home. And I pity the other siblings, because it almost sounds like they grew up without a real father. This girl is the first beneficiary, but I'm not sure the others had the privilege of having their father mentor them, raise them. Yeah, so this one is just our victim, and she's the one that cried out. So I
really can't tell what other people have gone through.
The other siblings might have stories as well. Yeah, and it doesn't also seem like this girl had a good relationship with her siblings. So I'm leaving a 1% chance that there's something about her that we don't know.
Yeah.
Although
she may not be a part of the family.
I do not think, for whatsoever reason, I do not think the kind of treatment she received is fair. I think it's highly unfair. I think the father dropped the ball, so the wife's wings came out. This time, not even that she had strong legs to kick the ball. Her wings came out and she made all the decisions. And even when the man died, there was no impact. There was no impact. So when he was alive, when he died, there was no impact. So
it was the same.
Yeah. She even said in her story that when the father died, the mother, in quotes, said, your father has died now, who would save you? So that's why I still believe that this woman is not her mother. Because the story, in fact, when I read it, it felt like Nollywood to me. And just like Ronke said, it's not everyone, it's not every father that has that ability to lead a home. There are some men that are married to women that have domineering spirits.
Hey.
So they do not know how to tame, they do not know how to tame that woman to say and put their foot on the ground to say, I am the man of this home. Then number two, he was probably dependent on her financially, so he did not have the balls to look at her in the eyes and say, these are my children and I have to look after them. Or maybe because he cheated and brought this child home, he's still feeling that sense of guilt to say, okay, I've wronged you. I'm still pleading with you to even take
it's
me.
It's because of the kind of money. Some people cheat and bring home and there's nothing you can do about it. Take care of this child or else you go, you know. But let me pause
these are the
here.
scenarios that could have happened.
Yeah, let's take this call. Tayo from Ikorodu. Good morning, Tayo.
Good morning. I wish you a lovely weekend. The topic that you are treating today is a nice topic, but if you go into the background of the Bible, as it was in the beginning, so it is, so it will be. You look at the life of Esau and Jacob. So Jacob and Esau came from the same mother, and you can just imagine when the mother of Esau tried to maneuver the whole thing. So it's not a new thing. What I will advise the lady is that she just believe that that is how God designed it, and she should move on with her life, and she will get better. And look at the end of Esau. Esau was even greater. So somebody does know that was having a great army. So, and the lady should not get frustrated. She should believe that that is the arrangement and move on with her life, and it will be well with her.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, Toby.
From the conversations, I'm having a question in my mind, and I'm saying that, is it actually wrong to marry a woman with a strong personality? And I ask that because a number of us, even on this table, have strong personalities. So we now would say that, why are you using side? Why are you doing like she's giving a bombastic side there? Like, so would we now say that we're not to be ourselves? I think it's a function of who this woman really was, right? As against the man being less domineering or just allowing things to slide, right? So for me, I think that the question of marrying somebody that is stronger or that has more power and all that is okay, but you must always look at the values. I'm sure this woman must have, at some point, exposed or let others know that, or let the man know that this is the kind of person, this is the way she thinks, because how would she, out of all her children, pick out one person, right? And you know, we're always victimize and choose. That means in some other instances, she may have done this, and then the man may look at it and say, maybe. And just
there's some men that are just in love.
Some good sides,
They're
yes,
just in love
and just want to overlook it.
Exactly. They don't want to break the home.
They
want to keep
child. And then he may also think that it is just one child. Well, the other ones are okay. And then the man may feel like, okay, since it's just this one, let me just let it go for the sake of peace. And you see that a lot of men also do this peace thing.
So we have our different personalities, and some are strong, some are middle, some are a bit, I wouldn't use the word weak, some are, let's use the word, let's say soft now, since I don't want to use weak, mild, you know. But it's what you see, what I see in this case is, fine, she has a strong personality, but she is traumatized. She's a traumatized person. Absolutely. And if you dig deep into her probably upbringing, somebody must have done, maybe one of her parents singled her out and made her the scapegoat. Yes. So she's giving what she knows as normal. If I have like 5, at least one person should suffer. That's how I suffered where my siblings are. But she's quite a strong personality. She was able to hold everybody. Nobody could speak up. If we really follow what the story is telling us, nobody could speak up. So this lady needs to understand that this woman is a traumatized person. And for her to heal herself, she must forgive the woman. For her to hold on till she's 50 is already a problem. The gravity of the mess that has happened to her emotions is so deep. She needs series and series of therapy to come out of it till 50. You know, in my head, I'm like, okay, when you got into the university, Run away.
Jackpa.
If in a media, don't come back. Daddy, send me money. I'm not coming back. If you don't send me, I'll find my way. We saw a lot of people in school who did not like to go home. I didn't like to go home.
I didn't like to go home.
The only time you see me at home is when my younger brother calls me that daddy has money. I just carry my bag, show. Once I collect the money, I'm out. When I finish, I come to Lagos. You know, I was modeling, I was distracting myself. I didn't want to come home. So children, at some point, when you become a young adult, you're like, I can't do this anymore.
For your
You take
life.
responsibility. You don't still wait on mommy to give me handovers, mommy to...
Yes,
so she kept waiting for mommy to validate her.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And mommy refused to validate her.
So there's something this story did not tell us. But I want to agree with what Damola said. It's like this woman was the financial help in the home, financial backbone in the home. So even if she had gone, there will be this fear of what will happen to me if I go, who will take care of me, and all of it. So while you were talking, I remembered one time when one girl came to me. She had a cut on her head, and she told others that she fell. But I just didn't buy it. So she came to me, and I asked her to take off the cap. I saw it. I saw they had taken out a part of her hair. So that seemed like they stitched it. And if that was a fall, you know, it just, you know, so I told her to just tell me. Don't worry, it's between us. Tell me what happened. And then she said, my mom hit me. Your mom hit you with what? She said, a stick. I looked at it again. A stick would never have done this. And she said, and cutlass. Hey! So, no. I haven't verified if it was cutlass. She said. So,
but
keep the chimo down. Keep the chimo down. Okay, so I happen to know the girl's dad. And so I said to her, tell your mom to come see me. Your mom would need to understand that she cannot always try. But before then, I said, what did you do? I know that whatever she must have done, I mean, that was it. But what did you do? And she gave me the most silly response ever. She said, my mom has taught me how to make rice. And she said, whenever I'm cooking rice, it must not be too soft. So this day, it was very soft. How old is this girl? She's 13.
Oh, my God.
So I was very happy to have a word with her father later, and then I have said to him, I just need one thing, because I'm not one to just jump into things. I only want to clarify that she actually used cutlass. But what did this guy say? He said when he got home that day, he was just surprised that his wife came to kneel down. And she was begging him that I've done what you said I should not do. Oh, she pushed me. She pushed me. What did you do? What did you do? She said, I hit her. And then he said that his wife hardly beats the children. He's the one that does the beating. In fact, he has not seen his wife beat. The wife is always buying things for them. So he just assumed that for her to be this apologetic is because maybe the girl pushed her so far. Now, I was the one who told him that it was rice matter. He said he was so tired that he just told her, get up. Get up. So that's to let you know, Toby. So I'm going back to, I'm leaving your spooky side and letting you know that these things can happen. Now that I know this girl, so my husband was involved, a friend of mine, and my friend wanted to shake the guy like this. What are you doing in your home and you allow your wife to do this? And my husband even said, next time you offend her, you better go to the other room and sleep with one eye. No, we teased, but I tell you, there are some women with anger issues.
True, but let me pause you. We have a call, Abdulaziz from Ikorodu. Good morning. Oh, we lost the call. Go ahead. You were rounding up?
There's some women with intense anger issues that nobody ever checked.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we must go back to those times where we believe it takes a whole community to raise a child. Parents cannot do that alone, because some parents cross the line. So many parents cross the line.
Well, what she said, right, is what I was driving at about the spookiness. So there are more things. We live in a culture that attributes our weaknesses to the spiritual. And what really is the problem is an anger issue.
Anger.
A trauma issue. So let's stop over-spiritualizing things that actually can be sorted when we really want to sort it out. So when we say, that's why I was saying it was beginning to sound spooky when she was saying, rich, oh, this one, Kovun. I said,
no, but those things
exist.
Yes. Now, with the knowledge you have, you can now be logical in your observation to say, this is definitely trauma. We didn't know the word trauma before now. Wasn't it recently everybody said, coaches started saying traumatized, and then you're going back, you're looking at the history and like, okay, this is actually trauma, this is psychological, this is emotional. Our parents didn't have those definitions. So what do you call them?
Absolutely.
You say, some
The
spirits.
spiritual problem.
Even evil spirit in the Bible is not evil spirit, so to speak. It's trauma. But we didn't have that. So these things happen. But your story just reminded me of, in class, I used to be a classroom teacher. And, okay, let's take this phone call. Who's the caller now?
Mary.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You're welcome. You're live.
Yes. Rosemary from Abuja.
Okay. Good morning, Rosemary.
Actually, what that lady said is true. Yes, yes. What that lady is saying is the truth.
Stop listening to the TV, please.
Okay, it's the truth because I have a similar story. This girl, she's 18 now. My neighbor's daughter, the second one. I'm not listening to TV. I'm away from the TV.
You're listening to yourself. Sorry, we lost that. Yes, so I was about to just narrate how, I used to be a classroom teacher, and there was this particular teacher who, she hardly beats the children. Beating is corporal punishment is not allowed, right? So she hardly beats, but somehow some people still find a way to just pinch some children that don't behave. Just touch her hair. That's the word, touch. But on this particular day, I don't know what happened. She came into the classroom, agbo, 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 agbo. And she left marks on the child's body. It was a huge case, marks on the child's body. So this woman, we now started realizing that she's always had anger issues. Her husband knows it, her family member knows it, her son knows it, but she knows how to, these people who know how to give you perception. Me now, you can easily catch how I behave because I don't know how to hold myself. But there are people who are very, they are concerned about how people see them and view them. So if you are coming on set now, you will sit in a certain way, you talk in a certain way, they are very prim and proper. But once in a while, that thing comes out and she will lash out and do whatever, So someone who's married to that kind of person will probably be seeing more of that. And they will just feel, she doesn't get upset all the time. It's once in a while. Once in a while, you break bottle on your child. Once in a while, you carry knife for your husband when you're upset. Once in a while, once in a while. How do we stop that once in a while from becoming the norm when you now have to go full-blown maltreating a child for years, piling up the victimization, piling up the trauma, piling up the emotional mess? How do we nip it in the bud, so to speak?
In fact, I was even going to state that there are other children out there going through what this woman has been through. There's one stepmother somewhere maltreating one stepchild now. There's one uncle or one auntie maltreating one niece, or one madam somewhere using one underage child as a house help or as a housekeeper. We need to do better as individuals if we want to build a better society. I don't know if it's jealousy or is it superiority complex that makes you want to batter someone, beat them down so that you can feel better with yourself. I know that jealousy is a feeling that it's an emotion that we all feel, but your ability to suppress it and believe in yourself, that self-confidence is what sets you apart. So the sky is big enough for everybody to flourish. So why would anybody want to suppress other people? A child. Is it that you've seen their future, that they are going to be glorious or what? Why do you feel the need to snatch away someone's self-esteem just to feel better? So we need to preach this self-confidence a lot, because by the time you yourself have that self-esteem, when you're self-confident, you would not feel the need to treat other people like trash. I think it begins with us.
Yeah, let's take this call from Benin. Mr. Paul, good morning, sir. Good morning, Paul.
The rain, network.
The rain. Okay, let's move on. So I like the aspect you brought up when we're talking. You mentioned favoritism, how parents, sometimes will favor one child above the other. And I'm asking, is it possible that you can have children without favoring them. So I'm using myself as an example now. I have 3 kids, and me and Oga agreed that there will not be any favorites. You can, if you ask the children, who do you think mommy likes most? They don't know. They will not be thinking. So anytime I ask them, or somebody asks them that question, they are always looking at each other like, who? They can't point this person. So that's what I wanted to achieve. However, they will tell me, but you give the last born more things. She gets more yes than no. I said, because you sent her. You people will hide behind and send her, come and ask mommy for chocolate. Come and ask mommy for this. Come and ask mommy for that. And sometimes I tell her, I said, don't I tell you no? I tell you no, and she cries and she goes back, you know. So it was something I was deliberate. And honestly, aside from being deliberate about it, I really don't feel any extra special thing for any of them. And I treat them the way they present. So my son always feels like I'm picking on him. I say, it's the way you're presenting. You give me more reasons to pick on you. When I tell everybody to go left, you go right. He has a mind of his, he has my mind, right? I used to be very stubborn. I'm still stubborn. I've not stopped being stubborn. It's paid me, so I'm going to stick to it. So he has that, he has my mind. He's just like me. And he has his father's ability to talk and argue. Right? So imagine that combination. So when I say everybody go left, he is questioning me, why are we going left? Why? But you are not different, my friend. Will you go left? And I'm constantly raising, and he feels like I'm always picking on him. I say, it's the way you present. The other ones have questions. They will go left first, then they will not come back. But mommy, why did you even say we should go left? But they've gone left. But you will not go left.
Is it the first child?
No, it's the middle boy. You.
But man, obey first and then complain. Obey first and then complain.
So how do we, the question now is, how do we ensure we don't show, you have kids?
I do.
And you do, you have kids?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you are loading. You have,
Yes.
Yeah. So how do we not show favoritism? Because we've seen the effects of, having to favor one child over the other.
Okay, can I go?
But before you go, let's take a call. We have a caller. James. Good morning, James.
Yeah, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. And you?
Fine. Yeah, just have a contribution to this ongoing discussion. Yeah,
go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead, we can hear you.
Yeah, the issue of favoritism to children. Actually, as a parent, and thank God I'm a father of 2, I believe that the temptation is very, very high as a parent. Because if you have a child or 2 children, 3 children, the individual of them have different weaknesses and strengths. And there's tendency as parents, or as a father, so to say now, that if one is not very careful, the temptation to love one based on the strength against the other because of her weakness will be there. But one thing is very, very important, that the one that have weakness will have strength at the other side. Even the one that have strength here may have weakness at the other side too. So when the temptation is coming up, what a father or a mother should do is that you should be able to look at the strength of that one that is showing weakness. Because if you are not careful, you lay a foundation of hatred, in between the children.
Yeah.
And, to curb it later or to resolve it will be too late for the father. So, and this thing is very, very common in many homes today. And, it has pushed so many children into things that are ordinarily not supposed to do. So, as parents, as a family, you are supposed to, ensure that you balance the two. Take, for example, one is brilliant than the other, or one is, quiet. That are their gifts. And at the same time, it's not all the children that should have the same gifts. So you look at where this one is good, where that one is not. If there is need to, upgrade or to help the other one to grow, then that's your role. But to begin to show it to the children that one is better than the other, I think there's a problem. And it will bring a disaster to a home. So to me...
Thank you so much, James. Thank you. Okay.
All right, PC, thank you for your question. I like to agree with him, though partially. I feel issues of sibling rivalry was a lot more in the previous generation than our generation. We're a lot more enlightened. Our parents made mistakes. We saw a lot of people, handle this in a very weak manner, such that siblings have reached Supreme Court over minor issues, and you just see that nobody gave them a chance to express these things when they were children, because it's only normal. If everybody in your house behaved the same way, your house will be boring. It'll be boring, so it's just normal. So to answer your question, I would say we've got to instruct our children with a lot of patience. Don't instruct and expect that the child will do it now. So because, like he said, children are different. So parents must understand their children's personality. I would say take your children through personality test. Don't say I sound serious.
No, you're right.
Because it's the truth. Yeah. You've got to know, as you were talking, I just said in my head that your son is called male.
Him. Yeah.
I immediately said, oh, that's a called male there. Because if parents understand why cholerics act this way, in my own case, I am a lot of male and a bit of phleg. Okay. My husband is san and small male. But our first son is choleric.
Hey, well,
he's choleric.
He's the leader.
And we just realized that this boy doesn't behave like either of us. So one of those family meetings, my husband's older brother said, okay, don't go to fights like us. Let it in the family. I said, I don't like that at all. Yeah. So it's important that parents understand the personality of the children. Phlegmatics do not have to be weak if you attack it on time. Sanguines do not have to be careless and carefree if you attack it on time. Melancholics do not have to destroy themselves if you know on time. Yeah. And cholerics don't have to be so cold if you also realize on time, get the blend. So that's one. Number two, you've got to highlight each person's strength. You need to know that this one, in my house, the rallying force is the last born, the 4-year-old. Those other two, they behave as if you go to your own nation, let me face my nation. And the 4-year-old is one that will say, give me this one zone, give me that one zone. And you go to this one and say, why are you like this? So we realized on time that, hey, that's his own strength. And we also found out that my son likes his space. One time, my mom came around, so she saw a shirt that was small for my son and gave it to she took it for my sister's son, who was like 2 years younger. So my son went with my mom to that house. And when they were searching, he just saw his shirt. Mommy, this is my shirt. And the next thing is, you took this from my house. My mother said, your mommy gave it to me. He said, that's what I don't like about my mom. Why didn't you tell me?
Yeah, so I like what you just said. In my search to understand my kids, because at some point I was overwhelmed. Like, how do I handle this? I'd done Montessori, I'm a life coach and all of that. So we had to do this personality testing, and I sort of understood them. I went far to go and do their numerology. Life part number. Oh, wow. And that gave me a better understanding of all my children. So I just face them the way they are. If you're coming from the outside, you don't understand how it seems like I'm treating them differently. But I'm following them. I already know the one that is me. We are stubborn together. So I know what works, and I just try my best. But they say your results will not come out till these kids are older. So everything I'm doing, everything we're doing, we just hope that God will put his blessings on it, and the children will come out well. But let's take a short break. When we come back, we give this woman some solutions. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us as we are wrapping up now. I'd like us to look at solutions. I know in our discussion we've mentioned some solutions that would work for this woman, but let's give her more solutions she can begin to look into. And she was very vulnerable. She put her full names at the end of the email. When I saw it, I was like, wow. So what do you think she can do now that she's 50? She doesn't have any self-esteem, no self-love. She wants to pick up her life and start again. What do you think she can begin to do?
I am particularly happy that she wrote in that email that there's something in her saying that she can still find happiness. There's that ray of hope that she's holding on to. And I just want to tell you that hope will not fade if you work hard at it. it's been a traumatic childhood for you. So please, you have to seek therapy. I do not know if you will be able to afford it because I know counseling. Life coach, please tell me. I know it can be yes, I know it can be expensive, but you just have to do what you have to do. You need a life coach. You need somebody to hold your hands through this place called life. And if you can volunteer at maybe church programs or some foundation, get something that can give your life a meaning, something that you can commit to and say that because of your existence, this thing is thriving because of me. And it's not too late. I don't know what you've done with yourself in 50 years. I don't know if you have skills to monetize, but if you do not have any skill, you can still acquire them now. It's not too late. The person that founded KFC started at the age of 62, and today KFC is a multi-billion-dollar business that is thriving. He has left a legacy for the ones that are still coming. So please do not give up on yourself. And I just wish you all the best. Yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I'm starting to think, is this all life coaches we have on this table?
My sister.
But you see, that thing you said about being in the classroom, don't let it go. Still look how to get to the classroom.
No, I don't understand. I'm still in the classroom, but
You're
now
still
with
in the
adults. No,
with
my
adults.
coaching is part of it. Why do I have to go inside the room again and be playing with children 10-10? My waist cannot be.
I want to ask you, Bisi, what can you not do?
Hey, I can't kill.
Epic answer. So what I think she can do is she needs to forgive herself and try to walk away from this past. It's hurting, but it won't help her future. She needs to just forgive herself and move away. She needs to, just like what Damola said, she needs therapy, and she needs to understand that life has not ended. I mean, she's got a good opportunity to create a different mindset for herself. And that would not happen unless, because she spoke about the mother's demise with a lot of pain. Now that she's gone, I mean, she won't move forward if she holds on so much to everything that has happened. So she needs to try to walk away from it.
Those are the same things I would have said. So I wanted to give like a context to the previous conversation that we had. Their children, I mean the other ladies on the show, their children are a bit older. So for people that have children within the toddler range, we would see that the personalities of our children change. Today they are smiling, tomorrow they are straight-faced. So please don't be pressured, right, to take a personality test, because in another 2 months you find out that it's changed already. Yes, but understand that there are basics, right, underlining that you should take on as a parent. So one of the things I say is that let the same rule apply to all children. Don't say because this one is the firstborn, you are taking this one, you are not taking this one, right? Because I have a baby, he's 1 year and a few months. And so sometimes if he wants something that his older brother is holding, he would lie down and be crying. I say, we have seen this thing before. Stand up when you are done. Because it feels like, and you know, my older son will be like, mommy now, mommy, let's give him. I say no. Because if we do this, he's going to grow up with that entitled mentality of saying that he must always have his way. So let the rules apply across board, irrespective of the age that you raise your child in. And then there's this thing about raising your voice at children. I don't raise my voice at my children.
You're soft naturally.
So, and it wasn't always that. I didn't grow up like that too. I didn't grow up with talking gently. I mean, you have to shout before we can hear. But I saw a woman at a park, JJT park, 3 children. She was saying, no, don't go there. I said, man, what is happening? She said she's talking to them. And do you know the funny thing? The children were obeying her. As busy as that place was. And so I said to her, is this how you talk to them normally? And she said, yes. I wasn't married then. So I said, if this woman can actually do it, I'm going to raise my children without.
I did not see that woman before I married.
And so now, if people raise their voices at my children, they are looking at you that,
strange.
What is happening, right? And why are you so angry, right? So I think that these things come with deliberately choosing to raise your children the way that you feel is the best way.
That woman you met, me, I did not meet her.
Sorry.
I came from a house that they used to shout. We are just we are shouting. Our voices.
And culture too, yeah.
And when you come in, when you come close to the compound, you think something is happening. We are all laughing. Our voice is high. I now married a man who they are shouters too. They are gisting, they are shouting. So imagine me and my father-in-law having a conversation. Our voices are high. You come in and like, what's happening to you and daddy? He's a lawyer, so we argue a lot. And our voices are high. I did not meet that woman. So I started raising my children and I realized that their voices are high. Everybody is speaking at the top of their voice. So we went to for vacation to the US. My sister, on the other hand, my elder sister who's in the US with her kids, are soft-spoken.
They were raised in your home too?
No.
Your sister was?
No.
She wasn't?
No, she wasn't.
Okay.
They were soft-spoken. So I just realized that it was only my children that were making noise in the house. So when they are talking, I'm like, shh, shh. The next minute, Mommy, can I have shh? I was tired. I'm like, I can't wait to go to my house where I'm free to speak the way I speak, because I'm always considering the husband may be sleeping after work, and then my kids are just talking and their voices are high. She told me that the husband asked, are you sure their ear will not be paining them?
It's that loud?
I said, yes. I said, we're used to it. You know, so that woman did not meet me. I wish she did. Maybe that would have helped me to be deliberate about it. But just get used to the fact that my voice is loud now.
I still even believe that these things happen with age. I hear that sometimes children change, but that my last one, maybe it will still make you change that your philosophy.
Your children were 10, 12, and 4. They weren't...
It's the way they were raised. Yeah.
And they could have warned them before they went to that place. This place we're going to today.
She said that I knew the woman again in another place. That's how she was. Don't create excuses. Stop shouting.
Not even necessary.
Before you come down from the car, as we're coming down, open your mouth and greet. I do that one. It's like see adults and they will open your mouth and greet. Open your mouth and greet adults. Do you hear me? Okay, we're here. Come down.
Those ones too will not greet. You'll not be like, no. They're so well behaved. They don't say, you know.
That's the training. You keep training them.
I like what the woman said, but please, I'm still going to give that 1%.
There has to be a balance.
Yeah, they have to be soft. But if all of us are soft spoken, no, hold on, sweetie. If we're all soft and we'll be boring. Trust me. You need the spice. You need the ginger of the shouting.
It's
not called shouting.
Raising your voice. Exercising your vocal cords.
Just loud. So when I go on a movie set right now, the director does not tell me volume, does not tell me, because once I open my mouth, I have it naturally. So I don't stress my directors. You see, it's working for me.
Nice.
So, but I like the fact that people have advised this lady. I want to tell her that it's not a mistake that she was born into that family. She needs to understand that. It's not a mistake. God put her there to build her story. That's what I tell people who... I tell her if she stands now, she would inspire more people than people who grew up in a very soft environment with all the love and all the care. She would inspire people. And how would she do that? If she picks up herself now and begins to work on herself. So you mentioned therapy is very important. She needs a life coach. She needs a therapist. She needs to volunteer. You people have given all of that. She needs to forgive. Ronke mentioned that. She needs to forgive herself. She needs to forgive her mother. She needs to forgive her father for having a lackadaisical attitude. Yes. She needs to forgive her mother for the treatment. She needs to understand that her mother played the role she was supposed to play in her life. And how she turns her life around would, you know, make the role her mother played, you know, like, let me give this example. When Judas Iscariot had to sell Jesus, he played his role, right? And we will look back and say, Judas Iscariot is a wicked person. But if he didn't sell Jesus, we won't have a savior today. Absolutely. He had to play his role. So your mother has played her role, the role she was meant to play, for you to pick up yourself and build your story so that you can inspire more people. So don't give up.
Don't waste your pain.
Don't waste your pain.
Yes.
Turn your pain to your glory. Don't waste your pain. Turn it to your glory. And let's see how that goes. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, if I may say so. Mental gents. Thank you so much for your contributions. I had a lovely time being with you girls today. And that's all we can take on the show today. We'll see you again Monday. Stay with us. Bye. Bye-bye.